What is even crazier is this main event. This should not have been the main event. This is awful. Somebody needs to sit down with Tony Khan and have some sort of intervention. He needs to go to whatever is familiar or the same as a fucking Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or a fucking drug rehab meeting. Something needs to happen here. I don't know if he's given Jon Moxley full creative control and decisions over who he wrestles and outcomes over matches. Someone needs to step in and end this shit once and for all. Looking back at it now, this should not have main evented. This should have been somewhere in the middle of the show because it's the worst storyline maybe in the history of the company. And Jon Moxley is going down and ruining all of his credibility. At one point, this guy was a savior and a hero to this brand, to this company. And this guy is now legitimately sabotaging the company from within. I don't know how anybody looks at this as a positive. I don't know how anybody thinks this is good or good television. I don't even know what the fuck this storyline is and where it's supposed to go. Started off with the youngsters and people needing to step up, and now all of a sudden it's devolved into fucking Adam Copeland challenging for the World Championship. Imagine that. AEW in 2025, Jesse, has Dean Ambrose versus Edge in the main event after 5 years. Who would have thought we were here tonight for this main event? Unbelievable.
Yeah. You know what? Now thinking about it for a minute, in hindsight, they probably could have opened the show with this instead. It gives it that if you're not going to main event the show, then you're opening the show. Open the show with it, and then get into the women right after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, not the women, the cage match, sorry. Then get into the cage match right after that, and then have the women close.
Yeah.
But yeah, spot on. The card would have been such a higher grade if they did better match placement all around, for sure. You got to know what you're gonna present to the people, man. You got if you know you have two bloodbaths on our hands, you absolutely got to space that shit out, and those should be the only two bloodbaths, by the way. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, this was bad. Someone in the chat says it was that bad. Yeah, it was that bad. This was awful. The crowd could not have been bothered to give a single solitary fuck about what happened here. Yeah. And I am. Let me go here. I mentioned something earlier in the stream, and I want to read this to you because it's now becoming a problem, and we are where we are right now. And I know someone there is probably going to debunk this and say, "Oh, it's not a problem." Blah 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 blah. Listen, Adam Copeland has been in AEW now for what? 2 years? He's wrestled, his first AEW match was against Luchasaurus. That was back on 10/10/2023. You go up and down his match list here, Jesse, on cagematch.net. The only one that he's lost to is Christian Cage. The only one that he's lost to.
Yeah,
Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty, Minoru Suzuki, Danny Garcia, Matt Cardona, Penta. Singles matches I'm talking about. Buddy Matthews, Brody King, Kyle O'Reilly, Malachi Black. Brisbane Brawl he wrestled just recently. He beats Pac. He beat Wheeler Yuta. I mean, has he put over anybody outside Christian Cage in his entire time here in AEW? No. So now we're supposed to look at someone like Adam Copeland, who, you know, we look at Mercedes and say the same thing about Mercedes. I think it's fair to now kind of have that same discussion about Adam Copeland. Has he put over anybody in his 2 years in AEW? The answer is no. We started the storyline off with Danny Garcia and Orange Cassidy and Hook and Private Party and Darby Allin. And now, from October to March, we're looking at Adam Copeland as the guy who's trying to save AEW from the Death Riders. How the fuck did we even get here? While Jesse's chewing away on something.
I'm so hungry, man. I had a sandwich.
How did we get here?
It's... You know, I didn't really think about it in its totality, but yeah, man, he's here. I mean, I'm happy he's here. I'm sure the locker room, well, I'm assuming the locker room is happy that he's here. But yeah, it wouldn't be fair to say that Mercedes is not putting anyone over and not bring Copeland into that very same discussion? Who is he uplifting? Nobody. I mean, he's not helping Moxley. Moxley's already over. He's literally the briefcase champion right now. So what is he doing?
Not doing anything.
No. It sucks. Is he running his own creative back there too?
I'm sure he is. Tony's not going to tell these guys no. He's a fucking mark. He's starstruck when he looks at these guys. It's awful.
Yeah.
How is this your main event in 2025 when you got Swerve and Ricochet and MJF and Adam Page and Will Ospreay on your roster and Konosuke Takeshita? This.
Yeah.
You had the one opportunity to end this garbage that's ruining your television, and you opt to continue it going into April? Who made that decision? And who looked at Tony and said, you know what, boss man, that's a good idea? And what happened to Wheeler Yuta, who shook Edge's hand on Wednesday? That's what respect looks like. He walked out on Moxley, only to show up here and fucking defend Jon Moxley. Why did you waste my time watching television on Wednesday? Not one change. Right back to the Death Rider shit. There he is, out there helping Jon Moxley.
Wow. People say, who has Jericho put over? Jericho has helped others get over. You guys can say what you want about it. Jericho has helped others get over.
Jericho has done his part, but then creative after that has done nothing. Or they remained in a feud with Jericho so long that whatever worked in the beginning just fucking flipped back to the way it was before he feuded.
Them back the other direction.
Yeah. This main event was terrible. I'm sorry. I don't know. The main event is usually the most important thing on the show. This was fucking awful with one of the worst endings that AEW's ever given us for a pay-per-view ending. So we'll pick it up after Wheeler Yuta walks out because the crowd was dead for this. Dead.
In my predictions and previews, I literally called this match was going to be an overbooked clusterfuck. I think those are my exact words. This is going to be an overbooked clusterfuck. I can see it already. And it's exactly what it was.
So we'll pick it up when Wheeler Yuta got in there. Moxley was about to deliver a concerto to Adam Copeland. So he takes too long, like he's fucking in the batter's box, fucking doing practice swings. He's just fucking swinging the steel chair, lining up his concerto. And then all of a sudden, Cope kicked the chair into Moxley's face. They both get to their feet, double down with a double clothesline. Wheeler Yuta walks to the ring. He was left to make a decision. Oh my goodness. He took out Cope with a Busaiku knee to the surprise of nobody.
Whole fucking arena. Everybody in my house, we were all on pins and needles waiting to find out who Yuta was going to choose.
Oh my God, man. Wheeler Yuta, who is he going to align with?
Here we go.
He grabbed the briefcase and gave it to Moxley. The briefcase that has the AEW World Championship in it, by the way, that we did not see here. Switchblade Jay White hit the ring to take out Wheeler Yuta. White got his hands on the briefcase. He swung for Moxley. Moxley ducked, and he accidentally hits Cope before brawling with Yuta to the back. Moxley makes a cover as Bryce Remsburg was taken out before, and he gets in there and makes a slow count. 1, 2, and Cope kicked out. Moxley again is yelling at Bryce Remsburg, taking too long. Cope gets up. Moxley still yelling at Remsburg. Cope hits a spear, and he gets Moxley down in a 2 count. Moxley kicks out. Cope connected on a second spear, and then a third spear. Bryce Remsburg was about to make the count, and someone pulls him out from outside in a hoodie, and it was revealed that Christian Cage is on the outside in the hoodie. He smacked Cope in the head with his contract, and he signs the contract there, making this now a official 3-way. So they tried to switch it up and not have it be the same as the WWE Money in the Bank contract. The difference is he's been carrying around a contract that has been unsigned, and he had to sign it in the moment right before he cashed it in. That's the difference. Same thing, same premise. but he didn't sign it until he got out there.
Just a loophole into their and I'm like you. They did add a little different, a different element there.
And they could have used that different element to give me something different here as the outcome. They didn't do it.
Right, why would Christian Cage not have pre-signed that contract so that someone can't take it and sign it and take his opportunity?
I don't know.
Why did he have to wait to the last second?
I don't know. It could have been anybody. Could have been anybody to fucking take us away from this terrible story. I don't understand it. Christian Cage is out there. He signs the contract. He makes this now an official three-way. So now it turns from Cope and Mox to Cope, Mox, and Christian. I'm like, all right, let's get Christian as the world champion and get the fuck out of here. Honestly, that's the way I wanted it to end. I predicted that Cope would lose the match or win the match, and we'd get Jay White to cash in the contract because it's unsigned. He'd turn on Cope and then beat Cope for the world championship, and he would become the world champion. I think everybody would have loved that. Everybody would have loved to see that, but clearly that didn't happen. So Cage hits a spear on Cope. He only gets a 2. Cage connected on a kill switch on Cope, but Moxley flew in with a bulldog choke. Now Cage put his hand on Cope while in the bulldog choke, and that operated as a pin count, a 2 count, only because Cope got his shoulder up. So after that, he just faded away, and Moxley had the bulldog choke on him, and Cage is passed out. And the fans have to endure Moxley retaining the championship at the end of this match, at the end of this show, and he quickly gets out of Dodge, jumps into the crowd, and he escapes with the world championship. I'm like, what did I just watch here? This ending was so void of any creativity whatsoever. I was stunned at the level of fucking incompetence and laziness here. You mean to tell me that you, opted to keep this terrible fucking storyline going that is basically running amok on your television show, and the ratings and interest are absolutely the worst they've ever been. You've opted to keep this storyline going in midst of all that, which is unbelievable to me. Number 2, you had an opportunity with the loophole that this contract provided to not give us a shocking outcome, to at least try to take away some of the thunder from John Cena turning heel last Saturday, and you opted to do nothing. And instead keep Jon Moxley as the world champion. You could have had Swerve out there sign the contract. You could have had Adam Page sign the contract. You could have had MJF go out there in a losing effort and sign the fucking contract to become the world champion. And you didn't do it. No, but Jon Moxley's still the world champion. As if anybody wants to see this continue on for another week. We got another 5 weeks of this till Dynasty. I don't believe what we saw, Jesse. I don't believe what we have to sit here and endure for another 5 weeks.
Yeah, and again, if you've been with this stream since the beginning, you've been there for the long haul, thank you. And we know it's running late. But I also said earlier that I'm going to be fair to this pay-per-view, man. I'm not going to come here and just shit on it just because people like us shitting on AEW. I'm going to be fair. And I'm going to stick to that right now. This was trash. All around, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't anything to make us go, oh my goodness, did you see that last night? It gave us, did you see that crap last night? I mean, you had every ample opportunity to make this into something special, like you just said, and you just did the polar opposite, and we still have the same crap at the top of the card that we did not want anymore. I think it was an epic fail. It was this main event, the whole ending, the whole segment, the story they gave us, the way they executed it. I think it was the one thing that's going to pull the overall value of this pay-per-view down. It's not good.
Yeah, I don't believe it. This is what they came up with as an ending for the show. I swear to God, someone was sitting on the fucking toilet taking their morning constitutional, and they came up with this ending in literally 3 minutes. That's exactly what they did. They put zero effort into ending this show. No surprises, no unpredictability. It's like they're allergic to unpredictability. You have this loophole in your contract that you made different, comparing it to WWE's Money in the Bank contract, and you opt to do nothing to change that. I don't believe it. There's like 12 guys on this roster I'd rather see as the world champion, and here we are since October with Jon Moxley still as the world champion. Thankfully, they had Swerve Strickland out there, who Moxley ran out of the fucking building. He was met by Nana wearing the robe, who stopped him from leaving the building. And Swerve is on the mezzanine or the balcony and jumps off one of the guardrails in the audience above onto Jon Moxley and onto some security. He delivers the Swerve Stomp, and the show goes off the air with Swerve claiming he's going to win the AEW World Championship because this is his house. This is his company. I mean, that cannot come soon enough. If that is the end, I mean, we were talking about Darby. We were talking about one of the youngsters. Then we go on to fucking Orange Cassidy and Adam Page and Jay White and now Copeland and now back to fucking Swerve. I mean, where is it going to end? It better end with Swerve in Philadelphia at Dynasty. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. I really don't. Swerve is the new world champion come April, and then we move on and start building MJF and Hangman and Ospreay. Put Jay White in that discussion. I mean, we need some top-tier fucking talent not named Jon Moxley in the world title picture. That's what needs to happen here. But Swerve's inclusion here, Jesse, didn't save the fucking match or the outcome. I mean, it just got people excited and fucking holding their breath for another 5 weeks until this fucking mercifully comes to an end.
No. I mean, they just gave us a little preview, a little teaser into what we already knew because it was a number one contenders match, so we knew we were getting it. And, I mean, I don't know. Dude, it doesn't say when we get that match. Why is it assumed that it can only be at the next pay-per-view in 5 fucking weeks? It's like Groundhog fucking Day. We just saw a shadow. We got to wait for fucking 5-6 weeks.
I mean, what else do they have for a major pay-per-view match?
Don't they do pop-up specials in between pay-per-views? You know, the I don't know, winter is fucking coming or whatever the fuck.
Whatever.
Is this
what? I mean, they just trademark something with spring break or whatever the fuck they just trademarked.
Do we have an Australian pay-per-view coming up that we can change into?
I don't know, man. This
we can change into a high-profile TV show.
This shit sucks. The worst fucking main event ending to a pay-per-view that they've ever had in 5 years. In 5 years. I don't believe it.